Stand, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for all the blessings that you have bestowed upon us this past year, keeping us all safe during the holiday season. Be with those of our tribe, plus all other people who are suffering with a cold. Watch over them. Give them all the body comforts that they need. We ask you to give us wisdom as we go through these meetings and plan properly for our people. And all things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Next we have roll call.
Julia Coates.
Here.
Don Garvin. Bill England.
Here.
Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Harley Bezard.
Here.
Brad Cobb.
On.
Joe Crittenden. Jody Fishenhawk. Meredith Braley. Janelle Fulbright. Here. Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Here.
Tyna Rory Jordan.
Present.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
Chris Soap.
Here.
David Thornton.
Here.
Kara Cowan Watts.
Honey.
Next we have approval of the minutes. I ask for a motion for
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And next we will hear reports. And is there from Career Services? Or that would be you. Great.
Good afternoon. I'm Deborah Lack. Hi. I am representing Career Services today for Ms. Diane Kelly. And I would like to let you know that Talking Leaves Job Corps are back in session. The classes have resumed. And I'm open to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions? Mr. Baker.
On the career services side, the day work program.
Correct.
That's suspended,
Currently it is,
and for how long do you think?
until funds are allocated by the council, if that happens.
Mr. Baker
May I
has
address that?
information, I think, yes.
I just got a budget request for us to amend our budget mod tonight at full council to move $750,000 from the contingency fund to the day work program to carry it through the rest of this year, and then reimburse the contingency reserve from the carryover funds when those become available.
Second with a friendly amendment.
Well, there's no
That's just,
motion or anything, it's just, this was a request I just received, and it should, you want to go ahead and pass them out? And Gail was passing it out right now. So this is going to full council tonight.
Okay. That was my point. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Watts, did you?
Never mind, because we're interrupting her, so.
Okay. Are there other questions?
Well, if there are no other questions, I would like to introduce Kelly Forrest. Kelly, would you please come forward? She will be passing out Valentines from Career Services to you, from the NACTEP class as well. She is teaching the life skills class to day work participants and to the NACTEP. So, and I believe she's just going to hand them around. Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Watts?
Madam Chair, while we're waiting on them to pass things out, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add a grant opportunity that needs to go to full council tonight from this committee, if possible.
Do I hear second?
And it's been passed around.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is amended. This will be item 1 under new business.
Yeah, I know I was gone, so instead of the tablets that we kind of make every year, I was supposed to make some New Year's tablets, but what I was doing was I taught the first life skills class at the council chambers, which was really nice. It has the new carpet. We did about 112 participants from the day work program, and it went really well. And then the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I did 86 people, ended up completing 66. from weather or attendance. But what this is there are 2 sets of 8 for you all, and it has some Cherokee on the bottom. This is Valentine's, Happy Valentine's Day. It says the same thing in Cherokee. My suggestion to you all is to keep 1 set, and the other suggestion would be to sign them and give them to Valentine's for Vets for Rogan Noble's program. So if you guys, whatever you want to do with them, but that would be my suggestion in lieu of the tablets for this year. And for Mr. Snell, I have, for the first, I've commendated a classroom over at the West Salem Springs. Did that today, and we're going to have the first class over there outside of Tahlequah for the life employment skills, interviewing skills for that sector. So it'll be in there. Another one. It'll be, and I assume we'll be doing these within the 14 county areas in times that are coming. But this will be the first one in the red clay room. And I talked to Belinda and Samantha. Belinda Signer and Samantha Hendricks. Belinda helped me get this kind of really quick this morning because everything's, had to go back to my class, and then because I've been out, I've been back to the class. Really great class because they're just there without kind of me being there actually. So here's another one. And they'll kind of look like this. We're going to run about 1 day and look interested.
How about the hiring, please, Mr. Buzzer?
It's kind of the same thing in a different format. But it's been going really well. We could do a 3-day or 1 full day, but it's interviewing, dress for success, which is the basic employability skills, attendance, tardies, attitude and performance. So, but I know that Diane had been wanting to get that to you. We've kind of been putting off because of health. So anyway, we're good to go. So it's going to the 28th, and we'll be doing some recruiting in the next few weeks and identifying those particular people that had a little bit more trouble than what they should have, so we can help them be calm and give themselves better to get hired.
Right.
And again, we'll be doing that more in the 14 counties and Sallisaw and all the other ones. Another idea was to go out and utilize the community buildings as well. Anyway, that's for you all, and hopefully maybe we'll look at doing some other tablets later or something. So that's just, I think if you want to sign those, you can give them back to Robbie or Gail if you wanted to do that later. And then I can make sure that Mr. Rogan Noble gets those.
Counselor Watts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is absolutely exciting. We have needed this for so long, and apparently, I mean, your feedback, your anecdotal feedback even demonstrates that. So, could we get this by email so that we can push it out to the folks easier?
Yeah.
And I guess if you'll just send it to Gail or Robbie, then they can distribute it to the entire council. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I don't have a schedule set because I want to identify I think everyone is important, but we want to identify the ones that are most important to you all. If you have a group, so we can do it as small as 15 people. I think this will hold up to 40 people is what they told me over there in West Salem Springs. She said she actually told me today that they're going to do another hiring push there. So FYI.
Counselor Fishingham.
How much did we get the Visa, prepaid Visa cards down to a piece?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just a little teacher. So.
Thank you.
$2 a piece still?
Yes.
And this is from who?
Bank of America. Once you max out at 1,000 cards, if that is my understanding, once you max out at buying over 1,000, they stay at that same price.
Looks like we get a better price. They hold all of our other money.
Counselor Buzzard.
My question is for her. How are you getting this out into the community? Are you?
Well, actually, I just made it today.
Okay. My question is, how are you going to do it?
We'll do through emailing and through putting up flyers and utilize the area over there for our counselors. That's what I look for, and utilize probably Stephanie Isaacs in our area to do a small advertisement. And
I think this is really good. I think it's really good, but I'm not sure how you're going to get it out to people that needs these skills before they go and apply for a job at our casinos or Cherokee Nation or wherever. That's what concerns me. It'd be interesting to see how many you have to come to your classes.
well, I
But if you
think
don't get it out to the community or to the public, it really I mean, what purpose is it going to serve? I mean, we're trying to do this pre-interviews or pre-application processes, so you might want to take that into consideration, how we're going to get it out.
I think they've talked about, because we utilize the day labor program, like we utilize the in-house program, so it's, there's a possibility of getting a stipend, so we kind of hold a little bit of a card there, I think, to say, well, if you want to, you have to go through life skills in order to continue with the day labor program.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's an
That has to be a
incentive-ish.
requirement for a day worker program.
To do that with our in-house programs, they have to go through a week of it, and it turns to be very profiting for them.
I like it. It's a good idea. Thank you.
Counselor Jordan.
Yes. Would it be possible, I think when you reload those bank cards, they reload them without a fee.
These are non-reloadable Visa cards.
But what if we bought reloadable ones and asked them to return them for, say, a quarter or 50 cents to us so that we could reload them? Would we not save that? I mean, I know I'm probably asking something that you would not be able to answer. So what I would ask is that you take this back to Ms. Kelly and let's check into the idea of getting the reloadable ones, which I believe can be purchased at the same amount. Ask our day workers to turn those back in once they have utilized all the money on them, and then reload them at no fee. Now, that's the way it used to be, that they would reload for no fee.
I can certainly take this information back.
It might save us some money because that's that's 8% on each one of those cards that it's costing to buy the cards. And I'm kind of at a loss with all the money that we place with Bank of America, that they couldn't have cut us a better deal than that. But possibly we could help them by getting the cards back and reloading them instead of just using them as one-time cards.
Okay. Counselor Snell.
I guess we're all.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next we have the Executive Director's report from Education Services. Dr. Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, council members. You have our December report. It seemed like we just turned around twice until it was time to submit that December report, but I'd be happy to try to answer any questions concerning the report, and then I have an announcement or two concerning two other items.
Questions? Looks like we're ready for your announcement.
Thank you. I decided during the height of the blizzard last week to move the deadline for higher education scholarship applications from last Friday the 8th to the 22nd of January. So as you visit with your constituents, if they have questions about that, then the 22nd will be our date that we'll try to get all of the applications in. Now, one reason for that is that, well, naturally one reason was the weather. The other reason was, for some reason, colleges and universities are taking a much longer time to prepare transcripts. Northeastern, for instance, opened up their transcript line last Friday, the 8th. University of Arkansas last Friday the 8th, which is, of course, too late for an 8th deadline for us to process continuing applications. University of Oklahoma and Oklahoma State University were able to get theirs on, one was December 16th, the other one I believe was December 17th, so that gave us plenty of time. So we processed about 450 of the students from OU, OSU, and other schools that got their scholarship, or their transcripts rather, out in an orderly fashion. The other item is Sherilyn Young, whom I'd like to introduce Sherilyn to you. Sherilyn's doing some grant writing for Education Services on a contract basis. She has an opportunity to, it's not a lot of money, it's $40,000, but the potential is fantastic because it will teach us how to collect oral and video histories We've done a great deal of talking about talking to people before they die, but in too many instances we haven't done that. So this teaches us how to do it, and at the same time gives us a good basis of recordings to start our file. So that came by in a fashion that did not meet the normal deadlines for submission. So we appreciate your indulgence in considering the application and its review this evening.
Okay, Councilor Thornton?
Dr. Morton, the fall applications deadline is still in June?
Yes, June 11th.
Thank you.
Now remember, we do consider applications as long as we have money beyond that, beyond all of those deadlines, both the January one and the June one. Okay.
Councilor Cobb?
I'm going to, I know you weren't here for this committee, but we had a conversation in our donations and contributions in one of our subcommittees earlier today, and I'm going to refer you, if anybody wants to follow along, if you still have that. Councilor Anglin put forth a $1,200 for a Cherokee language teacher in the Skytook public school system. And it was not recommended by the administration. I'm going to kind of call out administration on this because here's what I want to know. It said the reason it was not recommended was motor vehicle tag allocations in the amount of $45,824, which I understand where they're coming from on that. But it also said, and possibility of an immersion pilot project with education, refer to education. So I'm not putting you on the spot, but I want to know, has there been any conversation? And I'll defer to Councilor Anglin and I'll give you some of my time. I just want to know, is there any possibility of an immersion pilot project in Skytook that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
We have immersion pilot projects, but they're limited to the K-8 schools where there's a high concentration of speakers already there. Do not have plans for Skytook.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Other questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson, Head Start, is not here today, so that concludes our reports. And moving to old business, there is none pending. Under new business, Councilor Watts, you have we have an amended agenda to consider a grant application here.
Move to approve.
Second.
There's no match.
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And, this needs to go to full council this evening. Is that also part of?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
All right.
Of course, we'll have to amend the agenda at full council, but I'd like everybody to consider that.
Okay. So this will go to full council tonight. Next is announcements. Are there, Mr. Baker, did you have an announcement? Or you made it earlier, didn't you? Yes, that's right. Are there any other announcements? Speaker Fraley.
I have a question, Mr. Baker. You want to clarify something for us on the $750,000? Is that all right, Chairman?
Absolutely.
Chairperson.
Just want to clarify, everyone's under the understanding that this $750,000 additional request will only fund the client services for 3 months. This is not a funding for the rest of the year. Okay, it's a 13-week funding. I talked to, and I noticed that there wasn't any documentation on here from the treasurer's office, so I talked to Callie, and she's under the understanding and impression that once the carryover funds come on the table, then those will get replenished in the contingency reserve. If the program continues at the enrolled level now, it'll take an additional $1 million in March to continue through the end of the fiscal year. Okay.
Councilor Cobb.
I just want to put forth to everybody on the council that day work program and scholarships, we need to really start having some serious conversations about those two things, or these are going to get away from us. They're both very successful programs, and we're going to have to. So I just want to kind of put for future use, put that forward.
Other announcements? Yes. Councilor Watt.
I would like to see some analysis and projections. Like, if we can project maybe what the need is in, for example, on the work program or on scholarships, we need to project the need, and then we need to project what we can cut on, save on other potential programs, where if we can get folks out of the system so that where they're self-sustaining, could we save money on other programs? And I would like to see our staff do that analysis and bring it forward. Thank you.
Other announcements? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.